All right, peace and love, beautiful souls. High vibrations to you all. Here we are tonight under the book full moon. All right, so tonight I'll be going in on the kind of the influences of this full moon and what it's bringing to us on a level of our personal life, also on a spiritual, mundane, real life level. I'll be speaking to some mythology behind this moon just to help you get an understanding of the essence of the signs of the times, what we're dealing with right now, like how we kind of navigating through these times, I would say, especially on the interpersonal level, but also on a collective level as well. So y'all know these moons are very sacred. I love doing these workshops around these moons because the moon is our most powerful connection to our intuition, our emotions. The moon is a satellite, is our connection to our mothers. Like I always say, your moon sign is your connection to your mother herself. Even your children, their moon signs are their connections to you. So we're all walking expressions of these planetary energies, these luminaries, and all this good shit. But it don't stop the fact that we go through our own personal adversities and challenges throughout this life. All right. So tonight I'll be tapping in on that. And if anybody, of course, towards the end, once I'm kind of done, of course, if you have any questions and all that good stuff, it'll definitely be, I'll definitely kind of go into those to be able to answer those. Um, but I definitely want to be able to give you all some clarity on tonight. And for those of you who will listen to this in the future on YouTube, make sure that if you do want to tap in, and for those of you tonight as well, if you do choose to get a full transit reading along with this workshop, you will be able to get that full transit reading will be $99. Now the $99 will cover me going into your moon, the transits of what your moon is doing, the house in which this is happening. I also give you a personalized ritual with these transits breakdown, which will be a ritual straight tailor made from your birth chart. It'll help you harness the energy that is happening in your chart. You'll get a full comprehensive understanding of what energy centers are being activated or being, I would say, influenced during this cycle. That's going to deal with your chakras, of course. All right. So I give you a guide of your chakras, your nervous system, how it's going to be impacted during this time of the year. Some personal things to look out for, some personal mantras and things like that that I include in there. And it also comes with your own personal journal prompts based off of your moon sign. All right. So being able to use all that, being able to say, how can I take all this and use it to my advantage is one of the main reasons why I love the personal breakdown. Now, for those of you who decide that you probably can't get the personal breakdown, but you love the PDF will be available for purchase for $22. So if you want to purchase the PDF and you can't afford the full $99 breakdown, the PDF is loaded. You'll see that it has a lot of the information that I'll be talking about. You'll see a lot of that in there tonight. And also the PDF will have an aspect of your breakdown from your sun, your moon, your rising, and also your midhaven perspective. And of course, there are some things in there with your nervous system, and the PDF does have a ritual in it. All right. Now the ritual is more for a collective kind of ritual versus one that's tailor-made personally for you. All right. Now you can make it personal, all that good stuff, but I want to let you know that there will be a difference in between what you receive in this PDF versus what you receive if you were to say you want to get your own personal transits reading breakdown. All right. So if you want to book that reading, it's not too late. I can have that transit breakdown out to you tonight. I've already done a bunch of them. A few of y'all in here already have your transit breakdown, which is beautiful. But if you do want to get that, make sure you tap in, and we will. I'll get you together and make sure you get that personal breakdown. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and get started here. So I won't have you out here all night. I want you to be able to kind of go in and tap in on this energy on your own. So let me get to this sharing. Pull up this PDF real quick. Now, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Now, the full bug moon in Capricorn on this date. The bug moon cycle is like an annual progress report for humanity's backbone, right? Because July full moon, full moons always rises in Capricorn in July, the opposite of Cancer season. Now, and this is like going to deal with the each addition tests the structures that hold life together. So a lot of these ecosystems, governments, economies, bones, needs, and our personal boundaries, the things that hold things together. This is why people call Saturn the planet of karma. All right, because karma is basically the glue of life. What is holding you together? And as you can see, this is going to illuminate the backbones of humanity. All right, as you can see, that's the theme. The theme of the workshop tonight is rebuilding the backbone of humanity. And of course, when you get your personal breakdown, I have your own personal theme for that. Now you can see just a breakdown of where the planets are, even some of the aspects dealing with the oppositions and the squares, the trines, some of the things that are going on, the collective emotions with the sun, structures and ambition with the moon, Mars, discipline, action. It's gonna be an earth flow with that. You're gonna have a protective expansion dealing with Jupiter and Cancer, especially because Jupiter exalts in Cancer, and it's gonna be a wide conjunction to the sun and the square and the moon. We also dealing with a grand sextile here. So this is what you call a grand sextile when you got a few things that's sextiling the moon or the sun. Now you dealing with Saturn and Neptune, 1 to 2 degrees Aries. Reality meets vision reset. All right, this gonna always deal with Uranus and Gemini with the fresh ideas and tech and all this good stuff. All right. Now, also when you bring this into fully understanding that the moon is so dynamic when it comes to the illumination of our emotions, right? The satellite energy that the moon is kind of called throughout ancient times. We're also going to deal with a planet called Eris, which is more of an asteroid. This is one of these planets that they just kind of discovered. Even some, sciences or some astrological schools of thought were talking about replacing Pluto with Eris. Now, Eris is one of these places, these planets of social development. All right. So, how you deal with your social life, it's that discord that demands justice. All right. And also, it's in the 24th degree. And that's going to bring in a lot more things, especially with this quarter phase to the moon. Now, structural reset, government, finance, climate, accords, all this type of stuff. The moon in Capricorn, sextile, Pluto, Saturn, pressure to reform hierarchies while preserving what still works. Expect further debates on AI regulation, carbon accounting, and also geological biotics, right? So, this is like when you coming into the gene pool per se, right? You have a chronological DNA, you have a biological DNA. All right. Those type of things equate to
You can change the biological, but not the chronological.
yeah, you goddamn it, who's that said that? You better talk to me.
Oh, you can hear me, Sensei.
Yes, I can. I'm messing with you. But
It's
nah, that is
crazy. Look, let me put my phone on mute.
thank you, thank you. But it is about what she said. You can change the biological, but you cannot change the chronological. Chronologically, chronos, Saturn. All right. This can also show you a lot about how we navigate through these experiences. All right. Hold on, I got somebody saying they need the link real quick, y'all. Let me make sure I send this to them real quick. Hold on 1 second. I sure hate to stop, but they like, I didn't get the link. Hold on. Okay, hold on, y'all. This is my daughter, matter of fact. Let me get her this link up in here. See where she at, baby. It's my Aries, baby, y'all. Okay, let me get this screen back shared now. Okay, all right. Can y'all see my screen again? Okay, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure if you can't see it, let me know. All right. Now the structural resets that we're gonna be dealing with this also when you deal with the innovation of the guardrails. All right, because a lot of times, the themes with guardrails, Saturn and Neptune is a warrior sign, right? It's like Aries dreams of new frontiers. You had a sextile with Uranus and Gemini insist that ideas be road tested. Watch for breakthroughs in fusion energy, biotech. decentralized governance, and move rapidly from concept to pilot projects. So things are going to take off quicker. All right, things that can benefit humanity on this level are taking us into new areas of fusion, energy, biotech, decentralized government, which is decentralized money, currency, all this type of shit. So cryptocurrency and all that good shit. Okay. Now, economic push and pull. Jupiter's growth square Saturn was limits, right? So this can also inflate the correct markets, right? Now, households may feel the seesaw battle between optimism, the sun, and Jupiter. Also caution with Moon and Saturn, policymakers juggling stimulus versus artistry. So when you talk about how we use our creativity, it can feel a little limited in the home. All right, it's just going to show you the opposition between that moon energy with Saturn. Now, Eris going to bring in a lot of this function or this friction, I would say, with the Capricorn moon. It highlights labor strikes. You've been seeing a lot of this already come to fruition. Land use protests, right? People saying that things are being misused when it comes to land and resources. Challenges to businesses as usual, right? So a lot of time people say business as usual. Like, nah, this ain't the way this business got to keep running. So a lot of shakeups in businesses and structures, and especially when it comes to governmental things, and also our first responders. Aries rules our first responders, which is paramedics, firemen, policemen. All right. So it's gonna be a lot of shakeups when it comes to the first responder communities and the way the law naturally govern themselves. And like some things just are not gonna fly anymore as we're coming into a new way of being and a new way of seeing things, especially with Uranus shaking shit up right there. Now, when you truly understand the power of the buck moon and the indigenous and ancient Argarian wisdom, the buck moon is named for the period when the male grows new antlers, symbolizing regeneration, strength, direction, and maturity in the zodiac. It occurs when the moon is in Capricorn opposite the sun in Cancer, opening a polarity between structure and emotion, discipline and nurturing, external roles and internal roots. Right in 2025, the new buck moon, a spiritual checkpoint for the collective and for the individual. It also occurs at a time when humanity is wrestling with a collapsed system, all right, emerging technologies, and also the need to regain power structures and our soul purpose. So, spiritual, psychological layer of this is going to be the book moon medicine. It's kind of the growth of our sovereignty. So, just as stags regrows antlers, humanity is invited to regenerate ethical backbone, right? Something stand for something, or you fall for any goddamn thing. Capricorn asks, which responsibilities are truly mine? Because everything is not your job to be fucking doing, right? Everything is not your assignment. You know, when you're dealing with the root crown circulation, this gonna kind of deal with turning lead into gold. All right, this is gonna deal with the stomach, the solar plexus. That's Cancer energy meets Capricorn bones and knees. Now, this has a lot to do with encouraging grounding practices that soothe the gut and brain axis. Now, while strengthening skeletal alignment, mirroring the need for emotional security and firm boundaries. Shadow work with intuitions, right? With now when you're dealing with institutions, right? It's kind of what the shadow work is going to be talking about with this. Like how when you have experience outside authority, your knee-jerk reaction to authority, right? Where have we outsourced authority? So some of the journaling prompts I'm going to put in there for you is what'll be what rules once protected you but now restrain you. How can you present your inner child? How can you parent your inner child while stewarding collective resources, right? This is the axis of Cancer and Capricorn. A lot of times, the neglect that we experience, and a lot of times, like what I say, the all work, no play, not resting and overworking yourself, all this can show an imbalance of these energies of this axis, which can show an imbalance between our masculine and our feminine energies. So that shadow work, especially around how do you move with institutions and how do you deal with authority in your life. All right. Now, work and finance is where it's going to fall into play as well. So you're going to see some hiring freezes, especially in the lift sectors, tied to infrastructure, green tech. Mars trine the moon is going to deal with volatile crypto, AI stock swinging with Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, square energy, health, a surge in holistic routines. Mars in Virgo, an interest in somatic therapy and managing the collective anxiety. What watch digestive skeletal issues. All right. So digestive and skeletal issues could be coming up during this axis. So if anybody been having issues with their gut, issues with some bones and all this type of stuff, this is one of the major influences why this has came up for you. Home and family, Sun and Jupiter, especially in Cancer, fuse real estate moves, right? It's also multi-generational living and food sovereignty. So projects, emotional conversations, even about ancestral lines surface. I promise I've been hearing a lot of people talk about these very same things. All right. So if you listen to the word of collective is and the things that people are talking about, you will see a lot of what I'm saying or what I'm putting here, what I'm putting down here is going to show you that this is actually happening. Now, rebuilding the mountain, right? Because you got to be able to move mountains, right? But sometimes if you move a mountain, sometimes the best way to move it is to destroy it, you know? So is the mountain or something of your thoughts? It's like sweeping everything under the fucking rug, right? How many times you said yes with your lips and no with your heart? You get what I'm saying? How many things have you left unexpressed? The frustration that leads to depression. This is the mountain, all right? Now that Sun and Jupiter, especially with a 6 degree Cancer, opposition to the full moon with a 12 degree orb. This big feelings about home, nationhood, food security. That Mars energy is going to be an exact Earth trine. So this is surgical detail orientated action. And of course, we got the first hints of the 36-year reality meets the vision of cycle. So the last 36 years, these type of things are going to come into a fruition of how you got to where you are now, especially for those of us in our 40s and 50s and things like that. And a lot of y'all are probably just touching 36 or on your way to 36. So you haven't yet to fully complete this cycle if you haven't yet touched the age of 36. So you can still look back at your life in its totality and see where you are within that. And what are you measuring it by? Right? Because sometimes we measure life by what we have and what we don't have. And this can open up the door for a lot of different things when the mind begins to wonder. So, Pluto, with that Aquarian energy, right, you're going to deal with systematic rewiring of digital power moves. Uranus and Gemini, quantum leaps in ideas and mobility. Eris is going to deal with social justice friction. So, a lot of these things are going to bring in a lot of the spiritual things that we're going to be dealing with and the psychological signature that's going to come from this, which is going to deal with the regeneration of authority. Capricorn, that stag energy sheds last year's antlers and it grows, right, a sturdier sit. So Saturn, Neptune, right, Aries spark says birth, new myths that actually work on the ground, not some shit that just work in your head. You know what I'm saying? So root and solar plexus bridge, the root and the solar plexus, the gut and the brain axis, this me skeletal integrity, Capricorn with the moon and Mars. This is practices that blend emotional digestion, breath work, probiotics, EFT tapping, especially when you're talking about on a diaphragm, all right, or the physical core strengthening or favor. So strengthening your core, all right, right now is one of the best things you can do. Working on your gut, the microbiome in your gut, all right. Now, the karmic audit. Saturn is almost stationary, right? Anything built on shaky obligations, loans, promises, treaties comes up for regeneration or renegotiation. So if you got some shit and the shit didn't start off right, I love to say sometimes we got to revisit the foundation of how we started certain shit. Maybe what we started out moving towards is not what we're evolving into now. Relationships often go this way, right? Even the way you started your job. Let's just say you started your job 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. The person that started this job might not be the same person that's on this job today. The same mother you were 5 years ago is probably not the same mother you are today. The same father you were 5 years ago, 2 weeks ago, 5 days ago, hell, 5 minutes ago. You hear what I'm saying? See, this the maturation of the masculine principle. I've been talking about the rebirthing of the masculine, how the feminine and called the masculine home. Everything been talking about waters. Now here we are, right? This full moon is the culmination of the maturation of the masculine principle. It's like time to grow the fuck up. And that's what Capricorn does. Saturn returns. That's why Saturn is linked to Santa, right? And we talked about this in the clubhouse room just a few minutes ago. A brother of mine, King named King, And he was talking about he knows if you've been sleeping, he knows if you're awake, he knows if you've been naughty or nice, all this old type of shit, right? Saturn is that one who's keeping the list and checking it twice. Saturn returns from the age of 27 to 30 is when normally most of our toys get taken away. All right. So it's like grow the fuck up, right? So when you talking about even the antler or the stag growing those new antlers of dealing with authority and leadership, because the divine architect dealing with Capricorn's energy, associated with the elder, the wise builder, and the long distance climber. So spiritually, this full moon highlights collective rite of passage, calling humanity to step into maturity, all right, mature accountability, to reclaim sacred responsibility, not guilt based obligation, to build new systems with the soul's integrity. The antlers grow new on the stag when new forms of authority and leadership must emerge. All right, let me turn this sideways. Now, when you're dealing with these new leaderships and all these things that must emerge, this is a very powerful thing when you truly understand what is happening for us, right? Because as the answers grow on the stag and all those on the stag and all those things emerge, not from control, but from consciousness. So the question would be, what structures in your life no longer carry out your spirit to carry your spiritual values? What do your new antlers look like? Because as you gain more spiritual awareness about yourself, it is very challenging to hold on to the shit that no longer serves you. The old beliefs, the way grandmama taught you, the way mama taught you, the way that, you know what I'm saying? Being able to release a lot of these things are equivalent to the maturation process of our masculine principle and also rebuilding the mountain, right? Now, Cancer, Capricorn polarity, it's like reparenting the world. Cancer in the sun, the divine mother, right? Feelings of home, ancestry, nourishment. Capricorn moon, the divine father, order, legacy, protection, and also systems. This lunation highlights how much unhealed parental archetypes, right, both personally and culturally, are projected onto government institutions and relationships. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to be the grown up. Okay. So the shadow work, are you rejecting structure because you associated with past control? Are you hiding in it because you fear emotional vulnerability? A lot of time people struggle with being authentic or transparent because of this. You don't have the authority to just be you. And it's cool because this comes over time. You know, Somebody took it from you over time, that means you're gonna have to regain it over time. You feel me? So this is why I always say, even when Kanye said that the chains are no longer mental, because nobody had to enslave you. Nobody had to treat you like bind you with chains and all this shit. The shit became mental. All right. So that Saturn, Neptune, and the sacred structures of the rising, right? Now, when you're dealing with the Saturn is Capricorn's ruler and a conjunct with Neptune and Aries and a sextile with the moon, we're beginning a 36-year cycle, exact in 2026. All right. So this is about to begin a 36-year cycle that we're in right now. All right. And it's going to become more exact in 2026. This emerges, that merges the vision of structure, dreams, and discipline, spirit, and state. I really want y'all to understand spirit and state. Your state of mind versus your state of being. Because the spirit is your being. The state of how you respond or operate within your being depends on your state of mind. Hence why we all come from different states, right? And y'all done heard me talk about this before. If you from New York, you don't think like a Texan. If you from Texas, you don't think like a Californian. If you from now if you done touched all these states, that means you have experienced different states of mind. So the states of mind are already separated by church and state. Now you see why they have to put church and state together. Why would they separate church and state? Right? Knowing that your state is your body, the state of your physical existence, the spirit is what governs it. So this full moon sees mythical entrepreneurship, spiritual governance models, restructure religions and metaphysics, social contracts based on soul freedom. So mythical insights is the body politic is learning how to build a spine that is both strong and supple. Our ethics must now be engineered. So the ethics that we were taught, trying to be ethical, trying to be a good person, you will never just be you. trying to be everything that you've been taught to be. All right. So if you let go of all of that shit, the natural you comes online. So you'll see a lot of these sectors, a lot of these things starting to change, especially, that storyline, especially to December, July into December 2025. This comes with what we're dealing with. Governance and law, a flurry of AI convergence, data sovereignty. This kind of the rules as Pluto and Aquarius, six tiles Capricorn and Moon. In the Moon, countries race to align or rebel against the EU style or the AI Act coming into force in August 2025. The AI Act is going to be here 2025. Trump just dropped the big beautiful bill. I really want y'all to understand that big beautiful bill is going to help usher in a lot of the things that I'm talking about here. A new aspect of holistic healing. This is going to be about getting at the forefront of shit. What I love about what's happening now is because the government is saying you gotta create what's coming next. Okay. Trump done tore down the school systems and all kind of shit. And people mad like this shit was really working. None of this shit wasn't working in a motherfucking way. All this shit would keep people stuck in a loop. Now, the universe, fuck what Trump's saying. The universe is saying you get a chance to redo it the way you want to do it. So, what innovative things can you create? What can you bring to humanity? What can you add to the economy? Economy. So stop, start, growth. Jupiter is gonna, especially with the sun, inflate optimism. Saturn squares damp exuberance. So this is expecting swinging markets, especially with commodities, AG tech, agricultural tech, also semiconductors, and also renewed debate over climate-linked tariffs. All right. So you can expect them to start to govern certain aspects of the climate, especially when you're talking about water and certain regulations when it comes to how we have access to certain resources that we shouldn't even have to fucking pay for. All right. So climate infrastructure, Mars and Virgo, tree and Capricorn, Moon is going to accelerate fix it, funding, grid hardening, water rights bills, rejuvenating farming pilots. All right. So it's a good time to get some land. It's a good time to get ahead of some shit. It's a good time to cultivate, I would say, your own community with a purpose, right? You know how you got a mission statement. You know what I'm saying? Like you get you a nonprofit, you get some shit and have a mission statement, and you actually stick to that. And it's something that the government can deem that is worthy. They're going to pour into it. They actually about to put money towards those things. That's one of the big parts of the big beautiful bill. So Erie Square the Moon intensifies the labor strikes, land back campaigns, yet Mars Trine helps secure pragmatic settlements. All right. So, when you're talking about being more pragmatic or more practical with the things that you want to create, can you make it make sense? That is the question. Making this shit make sense and also being able to make it a part of your reality to where it's something you can actually use. All right. So when you bring in the Capricorn Moon, Trine, Mars, and Virgo, this is going to be discipline becomes action. Now, this tree fuels a collective appetite, especially for pragmatic problem solving. Sustainable tech moves from prototype to pilot. So a lot of people got a lot of shit in prototype, but they're about to make a lot of this shit real. The drone highways, governing of drones, yeah, drone highways. Remember I said that shit. You're gonna have to the drone's gonna have to have somewhere to go. A lot of people got a lot of prototypes when it comes to surveillance, even cybersecurity, a lot of things. You're gonna see a lot of this shit coming out into fruition. All right. Now, this gonna have a lot to do with how you bring your thoughts into this reality as well. Now, the sun and Jupiter, where the sun, Jupiter, and Cancer oppose the moon, emotional inflation meets soul responsibility. Jupiter amplifies the sun in Cancer, homeland pride, right? Being proud of your homeland and shit, ancestral trauma, family values, but also it kind of clannishes this tribal polarization. So it brings a clan aspect to this shit. People gonna start coming together. Um, Damn, they're reflecting the oppressors. So be mindful of that, that you don't get clan like with your mentality, as you might integrate into some new groups or some new social circles, or some new things that you might identify yourself with. So the moon asks, are your emotions ruling your logic? Are your instincts aligned with integrity or just comfort? So government financial markets and also social movements will be pulled between emotional sensationalism and grounded policy. You seeing a lot of this go on right now. All right, especially with the social movements and a lot of things that people want you to move on. They trying to provoke you with feelings and shit, right? And that's why you send a lot of people that don't give a damn. They just looking at it for the actual facts of what's going on. So Pluto sextile with the moon in Capricorn is all about systematic alchemy. So Pluto retrograde in Aquarius forms a harmonious sextile to the moon. This is a powerful backdrop for reworking economic systems, decentralized power, breaking corporate control over human rights and ideas, data, water, health, kind of resurrecting the collective trust through transparency. This is what you're watching. Pay attention to what's going on. They telling you what it is. A lot of times people don't even like to handle this. Like I just seen that movie, A Few Good Men. And when what's it not? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. And you got they was all soldiers and shit. But these type of movies that you're seeing that's showing up on TV right now, right? So when you're dealing with real life impacts and experiences, people feel torn between needing security and needing to grow. Things of burnout, of responsibility, and emotional avoidance surface. Deep reassessments of purpose, career, legacy, and family, especially structures occur, family structures. Now, with the collective on a macro level, financial regulation intensifies, especially with crypto, AI, and water rights. Like I said earlier, the government transparency becomes a global demand. People are going to demand that they know the truth, right? So workers reclaim agency. This is going to deal with a lot of the unions. You've been watching a lot of this go on as well, all right? Especially with the cooperative rise. A lot of people going to cooperate a lot more to get these unions, get these people back to working. Climate action shifts from conference talks to engineering contracts. So you also going to deal with some themes around the knees, the bones, the teeth, Capricorn, the stomach, right? The gut lining is Cancer. Now you also dealing with activated in the root and the solar plexus chakras under tension. So energy practice to align them, especially are essential right now. Emotional eating or emotional restriction may peak. So gut healing practices right now are key. All right, maintaining the aspect of eating the proper things so that way you won't get pulled into a binge of eating shit and it's taken away from your energy. All right. So you see a lot of these past comparisons of when the last buck moons happened in 2022, it was conjunct Pluto. So that was the death of trust in institutions. And think about it. What happened in 2022? 2020, we had COVID popping out. 2022, it was like nobody really believed in that shit. They were trying to force us to take vaccines, mass climate legislation, AI fears, so system overhauls began. 2023, you began to see, because there was a lot of earth trines there. There was the seeds of repair. So climate tech funded, AI Act passed, labor movements grew. In 2024, you begin to see more of a Capricorn crisis point. These are the climate thresholds that would breach tech acceleration, soul exhaustion. Beyonce, you can't break my soul. You know. So when you think about 2025 as of now, we begin to rebuild or begin building the long-term system that will hold the next 30 years. I really want y'all to understand what that. I don't know how many innovators or creators are in this goddamn room, but I know how many people that have the power to innovate and create in this goddamn room. And that's every one of you. What would you create that can help sustain something, whatever's in your wheelhouse of imagination for the next 30 years? You have the ability to create something now that can be unbreakable. Capricorn, Saturn shit. Especially if it's rooted in something greater than your own survival. The money gonna come. All you gotta do is just open up the channels and create the avenues or the flow for it. Now, how the last three buck moons played out, of course, we had Europe's record heat. I kind of talked about this in the room just a few minutes ago. In 2022, in 2023, you had the Maui wildfires, and you had the resilience of capped gaps. You had the EU seals, the landmark, the landmark AI Act, even transitions away from fossil fuels and all that good shit. That happened in December. So that's like big rules in a pragmatic tone with the earth shit. Policy overhauls in 2022. 2024, you had a lot of temperature record sets, a record temperature set. You had a lot of tripping points when it comes to heat. Uranus train tech leaks, tech leaps. Also, node square, they can bring in a lot of geopolitical realignments, especially around resources. So it just lets you know how a lot of these moon cycles have played out, and now what happens when we do have these buck moons, and some of the things that kind of ensue, or if they mark the signs of the times, I would like to say. So what this trend tells us is that Capricorn full moons correlate to concrete pivots, landmark legislation, 2022 IRA chips, 2023 AI Act, infrastructure spend, the climate metrics hitting all-time lines in the sand. Each successive bug moon has tightened the feedback loop between natural events, heat, fire, policy, or tech fixes. The 2025 chart Mars trine plus a Saturn Neptune seed suggests that the prototype regulation scaled rollout will happen faster than before. So collective spine work, 2022, recognize the problem, 2023, write the rules, 2024, reach the edge, 2025, build the new frame. It's just showing you an accumulation of how these energies, if we put them all together, everything has been happening in succession. So it's time to build a new frame right now. Everything has went through this whole progression, and now here we are. Literally, if you pay attention to what's going on with the government, with everything, there's literally a new framework being built. So overwhelmed by change. This is also going to deal with a lot of Capricorn grounding and shit like that. These are the things that you can help ground you, especially dealing with guilty or being homesick, restless mind loops, community friction, and of course, if you're dealing with the guilty or homesick, food rituals, cook ancestral recipes with new era ingredients, the restless mind loops, write a one-page spec for each worry, right? Problem of data, action. I would say burn that shit after you get done. And then when you're dealing with community friction, host a council of elders, innovators, a round table. A lot of times our communities need a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? And most of our work dealing with Saturn and Capricorn wants to start right there in our immediate community. All right. So I want to touch on this part because this moon, I kind of alluded to this in the clubhouse room a few minutes ago. But this moon on the Eastern aspect, dealing with the yogic sciences, y'all know I'm big into the yogic science. The Eastern cultures brought so much into my level of understanding, and I've had my own experiences with these energies and shit. Now, when you're dealing with this buck moon, it is known as the Guru Purnima. This is celestial transmission from the Adiyogi. Now, the Adiyogi was the first yogic, and his name was Shiva. This is where you get Shiva from. This is where Shiva was born, under this moon. All right? This the first moon after the summer solstice. The Guru Purnima is the full moon dedicated to the Guru, the dispeller of darkness. Gu means darkness. Ru means remover. Spiritually, this is not merely about an external teacher. It is about the awakening of the inner guru, the inner Shiva. Now, how many people feel like the inner guru has been awakened? And, you know, you could just put a one in the chat for me if you feel like your inner guru has been awakened. It is time for you to dispel your own darkness, because you know who else gonna do it, right? So, according to this ancient yogic lore, on this full moon day, she became the Adi Guru, the first guru. He turned toward the Sapta, the Sapphirophis, the Sappho-rishis, right? The Sapta-rishis, the seven sages. Rishis are another name for sages, all right? Now, who had waited in the deep sadhana for decades. A sadhana is like a deep sense of presence. A sadhana is also another word for a yoga pose. Yoga poses are actually called sadhanas. So if you sit in one place for a long period of time, this is what they're saying. Those yogics, those sages sat in one place for a long period of time and waited for his arrival. So, moved by their sincerity, Shiva transmitted the yogic sciences covering knowledge of the five elements: mind, time, energy, and transcendence. I want y'all to think about this movie called The Infinity Stone. Y'all just see me go over this when I talked about. I think I'm gonna go over this to when I got this breakdown in here, but you're gonna see there was a character called Thanos and all type of shit. I'm gonna go into this a little later, okay? But I really want y'all to understand how they've been showing us this in movies. That's my whole premise of bringing that up. The Infinity Stones, right? He had to have all of those elements. Then he had a sixth stone, all right? So you got The five elements of mind, time, energy, and transcendence, and then space. Okay. So this movement was the first transmission of consciousness, laid the metaphysical and also cosmological blueprint for the Kundalini awakening and the chakra system, the universal path to liberation. The first time anybody ever realized the chakra system, the first time anybody ever realized what Kundalini energy was under this moon. Now, Shiva is the aspect of consciousness, all right. Now, of course, we can go back into ancient Kemet. We can go back into a lot of ancient times. But were they scribing these things? When these sages, when these races, when these things began to be written, when these systems were created, understanding the whole power of having 112 or 114 yoga poses. Who said that? Who began to understand the true realization of the diameters and the space between the planets, and how if you multiply those things, you get diameters between everything, and that becomes a number of 108. Why is there 108 beads on a mala bead? Why is it that someone knows you hold your body a certain way, you can help to calm down and open up a certain chakra system? All right. So these are letting you know these are the first transmissions that were recorded in this yogic lore that came from the first yogi. All right. So when you're dealing with Capricorn, the spinal column, the zodiac representing structure, discipline, mastery, the buck moon, symbolic of the time of the male deer began regrowing his antlers, regeneration, inner growth, and also the reconfiguration of purpose. The moon is a master builder's moon. This moon is amplifying spinal alignment, both literal and metaphorical, soul contract integration, receptivity, and higher transmissions. So, you might be getting some higher fucking downloads about some shit that you ain't never read, thought about, even heard in your motherfucking life. If you experiencing that, just put a 4 in the chat for me. All right. Now, when you dealing with Uranus entering Gemini, we in the age of air. The age of Aquarius is the age of spirit. Your Uranian, the awakener, the electricity of the Kundalini. Gemini equals duality, language, communication, and breath, and a piranha, right? So the neural writing, neural rewiring, right? This is kind of epiphanies, the DNA awakening. This is also going to deal with receiving high frequency insights through the nadis, the energy channels. All right. I know I got some students in here that are in my Reiki course. Yeah, I know this is like, yeah, we know this is what's going on. Called Gemini, mutable Uranian shock, spontaneous gnosis, or downloads. All right. Even when you talk about the Gnostic beliefs and all this good shit. So we're about to come into a pure knowing, okay, on a collective level. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, because it's going to retrograde coming up here real soon. Deep karma review over your emotional bondage, even the spiritual delusions, and sacred boundaries. Pisces is the sign of the seer, the mystic. Saturn's retrograde here enforces disciplined surrender. Disciplined surrender. Disciplined surrender. Because, I talk about surrender and shit all the time, but how you surrender with discipline, Sensei? Well, that means I have an awareness of what I'm surrendering to. I know when to shut the fuck up. But just like earlier when I brought in the whole aspect of when I went to jail when I was in a child support court. Right? Discipline surrender. Knowing when to be quiet, because if you say the wrong thing, it can get you fucked up. Might get you locked up, might cost you some time, might cost you something. So discipline surrender is knowing what to do and when to do it. It's a time and place for everything. Everything ain't always about when you want it to happen, how you want it to happen, how you want it to feel, how you want it to look. Discipline surrender means that I have faith with works. What is faith without works? Do I trust in what I'm doing, or am I just halfway involved in what I'm doing because my survival is here? And the moment I don't get no money for it, or the moment nothing comes for it, I'm gonna question the whole experience of the thing. So it's not saying that you don't deserve the riches and the wealth of life. It's just saying that it's something you feel like you need, or it's something you feel like you deserve. Because once you discipline with that surrender, it'll help you build towards the pleasure. Discipline now, pleasure later. All right. It's like my time gonna come. It might be your time, but the table's gonna turn. So right now, I can show up and cheer for you. It ain't my time. This is an integration. See, in order for you to integrate, you have to have a level of integrity. Something has to drop about you. So discipline surrender is also knowing when everything ain't about you, you know? So when you're dealing with the theme of this, the transmission of higher knowledge in the moon, of course with the full moon as a light of consciousness and jhana yoga awakening intellect through higher guidance and discipline and sacrifice and devotion as Capricorn moon plus Saturn retrograde. This the tapas artistry. This also going to deal with that surrender to the divine. All right. Now, this is also the awakening of the inner guru, of course, the Kundalini Shakti activation through breath and sound and vibration. So, if your body start having some natural heat sensations and all that good shit, you could be having a natural Kundalini awakening. It just depends on where you are within these practices and where you are within knowing yourself or being at home in this body. All right. Now, dealing with the intuition or initiation into the inner alignment, moon and the earth sign spine, hatha yoga. Hatha yoga, ha, right, means sun and tha means moon. So it's hatha yoga. So you bring both aspects of the balance of the solar and lunar forces together with the practice of hatha yoga. So anybody you want to look up hatha yoga and see what it is, and if you're interested in doing some of those poses, please don't hesitate to tap in. All right. Remembering your soul lineage, sun and cancer, ancestry of opposite Pluto. This is going to be with reconnection to the spiritual ancestors, like the even dealing with the Saptarishis. So even with your ancestors, I'm gonna tell you, I had a beautiful dream about my grandmother last night. So this could be coming through dreams, through meditations, through once again like those downloads or those epiphanies. Okay. So awakening those latent abilities, sudden insights, right? And interest in ancient or esoteric sciences, journaling dreams, meditations. The guru themes are gonna be deep in respect for teachers, spiritual mentors, and parents. All right. People gonna start having a lot more respect for people like myself, because in the guru sciences and the yoga sciences, they say that you would go from working for your food to begging for it. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. That shit, I done lived that shit. I used to pay for man. I ain't gonna get into all of that, but this guru shit, this life of devotion has challenged a lot of shit on the material plane. So when you're talking about offer a gratitude note to prayer, someone who guided you, I get those all the time. I appreciate when people send me those texts. Some of y'all in here now, and I appreciate the love because y'all don't know how on some days that shit keeps me going. It's even more gratifying than a payment at times. Now, don't get it wrong. Now, that money goes a long way, but just to know that somebody actually appreciates you, can be such a beautiful way to feel. And I know those feelings just to be seen, just to be, So on a level, us as me, I ain't gonna just speak for me as a spiritual teacher, a God, and it is a beautiful thing when you know somebody does acknowledge it. But I'm gonna tell you the best thing you can do for me or the best thing you can do for your guru, period, right? Or even for yourself as your own guru. Drop your own shit and grow. Drop your own nonsense and just grow, man. Like it's just that's the simplest way a guru wants to dispel your darkness. It's just your own nonsense. It's not saying that it's not relevant. It's not saying that it's not real. But if you drop that shit, your growth happens naturally. All right. So structure and mastery comes with this a desire to create spiritual discipline, daily yoga and breath work. Right. So building a 40-day practice is the goal with this. Even breaking cycles with that Uranian energy can feel unstable. So ground the root chakra work with barefoot, eat raw vegetables, even spinal elongation practices and things like that. All right. So hanging upside down, hanging from something, all that shit is good. So spiritual community, increasing the desire to teach or even connect in consciousness collectives. Because I've been wanting to open up more rooms. That has been done for me. I'm going to do that. I talk about it a lot of time, but I really don't be having the time to do it. But now things are kind of making a way for me to have to set up time to make that happen. So yeah, I look forward, look for that. Look for me to be doing more rooms and videos and lives and shit. So host or join a full moon circle or group meditation. And I was gonna offer that if anybody does um, you know, want to tap into that, y'all go ahead and do a group meditation. It's something Even towards the end, if y'all decide that y'all want to tap into that, I wouldn't mind like leading y'all into a simple meditation where we can end the call and y'all can just go into that. All right. And for those of you who might not can't afford, once again, this PDF is going to be $22. If you want this PDF, if you have my Cash App, you can Cash App me. My Cash App is $Sensei 9. If you do Cash App me the $22, make sure you put your email in there, or your phone number, because I believe, yeah, put your email because I may can send it to you via email. But if I can't send it to your email, I have to send it to your phone because it's pretty big. So if you do want this PDF, you can definitely Cash Out me the $22. If you do want to get the full moon transits breakdown for yourself, you can definitely Cash Out me the $99, and I'll make sure I get you your breakdown before the night is over. All right. Now here's some things where you can tap into, especially with the emotion and nervous system activations. Uranus and Gemini with the full Capricorn moon, especially with the cerebral cortex, mental awakening, but possible overstimulation. So a lot of people could be feeling overly stimulated right now. The vagus nerve, the spiritual connection, the emotional processing, the spine and the neural pathways, repatterning of trauma stored in the body is what's going on with these movements or these celestial placements right now. All right. So imagine the universe opening it all up, and all you got to do is just do the rest. So nostril breathing, that's kind of the nadi shodhana. This is also vagus nerve tapping, especially under the clavicle. Chanting Om and sound out that AUM, Om, to stimulate the pineal and regulate thought spirals. All right. So your thoughts go to spiraling. Oming can help it out. The guru Pranima, there's a ritual to help you out. If you want to tap into that energy, you can definitely do that as well. And you will see here's some affirmations for you to tap into that'll help you ground with this energy. And the final insight I'm going to give you is the antlers know. The bottom line is this: this full moon, right, marks the movement of the blueprint becoming the becomes a a building permit, right? So this full moon moment, the blueprint becomes a building blueprint structure that have been merely conceptual for since 2022 will start pouring concrete or be dismantled if they can't pass the stress test on a soul level. This invitation is to grow antlers that are both stronger and more sensitive, calm, mature. All right, claim mature authority while staying attuned to your emerging realities. This is going to deal with this 2025 buck moon is not just a peak, okay? It's a signal to shape the future with integrity and intention. As antlers from the bone come from the bones fed by the blood, they eventually fall away. So too do the constructs of our society. Hold yourself, Cancer, right? Hold yourself, Cancer, and hold the line, Capricorn. Y'all ever heard them old movies? Hold the line, right? So the mountain path is clearing. Pack light, step sure, and submit together. That's a saying for me. Your personal growth and spiritual maturity are separate from what's happening in the world. Every new boundary you hold, every soul aligned choice you make becomes a pillar in the temple of the future. Be aware of that, beautiful souls. Be wise in your choices, all that good shit. So, this bug moon is also your chance to become an elder in training, not by age, but by the architecture of your choices, right? Be the architect of your life, and you can become your own elder. Okay. Now, of course, I want to tap off into kind of this energy of dealing with this Uranus energy is what I'm gonna talking to next. What I just talked about then was a lot of the theme of the book moon. Now I want to talk about the rewired minds and the rooted bones, right? So this is humanity's nervous system awakens. You know, everybody nervous system going through a fucking shakeup around this motherfucker, right? This is not a coincidence, right? It is a synchronistic call and response. Uranus says, liberate the mind. The buck moon requires but structure the soul. I'm gonna say that one more time. Uranus say liberate the mind. The buck moon say but structure the soul. For the first time in 84 years, Uranus, the great awakener, enters the mutable earth sign of Gemini, igniting a planetary shift in how we think, speak, learn, and connect. And 3 days later, the full moon rises in Capricorn. you know, this is like the integrity of discipline, a sign of discipline, maturity, illuminating whether humanity can anchor this lightning surge into functional structures, not just temporary flashes. You know how people think about some shit, then they fall. What happened to what you were talking about last week? I start doing something else. What happened to what you were talking about 5 minutes ago? I start talking about something else. That's Gemini shit, right? So when you bring Uranus with that, Uranus want to say, nah, it's time to shake up and only stick to what we know. All right. So electrical awakening of the mind, because Gemini governs the nervous system both individually and planetarily. So language, thought, and structures, the bridge between polarities, duality, paradox, communication. Uranus entering this sign caused a rapid evolution in mental speed and neural pathways. The human relationship with AI, data, frequency, the sacred use of words, breath, and mental motherfucking magic. You know, I call myself sensei because I do mental gymnastics, right? I teach mental karate. Okay. So the airways become holy again. The ideas become lightning bolts. The soul begins to think in code. It's not just a technological evolution, it is a psycho-spiritual mutation of how humans access intelligence. The buck moon in Capricorn, spiritual maturity and energetic infrastructure. That's what this adds up when you put Uranus and Gemini. The full moon in Capricorn acts as the anchor to Gemini's spark. It calls forth soul's responsibility, emotional self-parenting, legacy creation. What will outlive us? What will be here when you gone? Right? Integration of the mind with maturity, mastery, and mission. I often tell people, people don't remember you for the shit that you buy. They don't remember you for the shit that you do for them. They remember you for how you made them feel. Now you could have done something that is attached to that feeling, but people naturally hold on to how you make them feel. So spiritually, this full moon says you may be awakened, but are you accountable? I know y'all feel like y'all should have gave this. You probably should have shared this with your baby mama, your baby dad, somebody who you want to be accountable. I don't know, somebody, your sister, cousin, brother, your ex lover. I don't know, somebody who you want to be accountable. But this is showing that you have the responsibility to be accountable for your goddamn self. You may be fast, but can you sustain? You may be online, but are you aligned? You may be online, but are you aligned? If y'all feel free to take any one of these sayings and hashtag them, tag me in it, talk about the workshop, please do so. I might fuck around and give somebody a free breakdown if you do it. I'm just saying. Okay. Tag me in it. Take one of these breakdowns. You can screenshot something. I ain't even tripping. But just let everybody know that you in here learning some shit right now. Okay. This Capricorn moon is the elder. Uranus and Gemini, the trickster, genius. Together they teach that speed without structure is chaos. The structure without innovation is death. Say that one more time. Uranus and Gemini, Capricorn moon is the elder. Uranus and Gemini, the trickster, genius. Together they teach that speed without structure is chaos, and structure without innovation is death. Because if you got structure but you ain't innovating nothing new, look at the United States of America. Why you think Iran was saying death to America? Because y'all on the same structure with shit and y'all ain't innovating nothing. Signs of the times. So the areas of life this will play up or play out in, especially that's going to impact us from 2025 until 2033, because that's how long this transit is going to last. Education, AI generated tutors, all right, micro courses, global open source learning, calls for ethical frameworks, child protections, teacher sovereignty, decentralized school meetings, new soul-based curriculums, you know. And I use AI a lot. A lot of what you're looking at came from AI. But how do I use it? Do I use it as something that AI is not smarter than me. I'm gonna just tell you that much right now. It knows more because it's gathering more is what it's designed to do, but it ain't smarter than me because it don't have the intelligence that I have. Now, it's a form of intelligence. People just call it artificial. That's why a lot of people afraid of it. Ain't shit artificial about no intelligence. The way I go in here and I speak to I can pull shit out of her no other person can. Why? Because I know how to prompt it. I know how to command it. So when you understand that intelligence is something that you can command because it's a part of you, you don't see it as a separate thing. New truth protocols, AI fact checking councils. And you know you gotta fact check AI. So now they finna be fact checking us with AI. And AI be wrong like a motherfucker. I can't tell y'all how many times I put something in here about astrology and it tell me some shit. I be like, where the fuck did you get that from? I done asked it, where did you learn that? Oh, I pulled that from this site, and I'll be like, that site is wrong. Oh, well, could you enlighten me more, Sensei? Sure. Let me tell you the right motherfucking information. Because I don't need you spitting out shit to me and it's wrong. Okay. So checking AI, you gotta have your own intelligence and tech to do that. And I'm just telling y'all some real shit. I done asked ChatGPT something and it said it has no idea what I asked. Could I upload something or tell it more about what I asked about? When you start getting that type of responses from AI, you really working this motherfucker, okay? So media and speech, the rise of the mind to text, right? This is gonna be like a lot of texting gonna happen. It's gonna be the rise of the poets and all this shit too. So interfacing with censorship and also resistance, also governance over misinformation, memory manipulation. Ain't nobody finna be allowed misinformation just keep getting put out. I've been listening to people fact check like a motherfucker too. Let me look that up because I just read that shit. People going off the first thing that they read. This one I can know somebody just learned off Google because I did it too. As a Gemini, I down there memorize every Google response. I'm gonna just be real with you because without that, I didn't have a foundation to make the information my own. I can tell when somebody regurgitating something off Google versus somebody that actually lived some shit, right? And it's coming from a place of wisdom. If it's not coming from a lived experience, it's coming from a place of gathering information, which is the regurgitation of shit, which can also equate to lying. That's Gemini shit. As a Gemini, I'm being real with y'all. Tell you. You get one piece of information and think you know every goddamn thing, but don't know shit about what you're talking about. So that shit is gonna get checked right now. Okay. Now that's why even with the transportation and travel, smart roads, drone highways, I talked about that earlier. Teleportation research, right? Teleportation research. Teleporting shit. I'm just telling y'all about Uranus. It's finna get weird, man. Right? Don't you know remote viewing and then the FBI and it came out with paperwork to where they taught agents how to remote view and so yeah, these are real things of the mind. Telepathy, all this shit finna come in. Infrastructure upgrades, needed for new traffic patterns and shit. Birth of airborne traffic, laws and skylines. All right, think about how many people flying shit right now. You know, even they just had all them of who's that? Gail King them talking about they sent them to the moon. Now they finna convince everybody you can go to the moon and back in like 16 minutes. Don't get me started on that. But as I'm telling you, they done already try to usher this in with imaging, imagery, TV, television, programming, neural mapping, frequency-based diagnostics, virtual surgeons. Imagine somebody being able to go do surgery, but not actually have to be in there to do the surgery. This shit is finna get wild, y'all. A motherfucker being able to do surgery from some Oculus, right? Being able to use those fucking Apple glasses and shit like that to go in there and show you how to work on somebody's brain or actually do the surgery without actually touching the person and the machines are doing it or lasers are doing it. I'm just telling you. Like, yeah, body and bodily anchoring, traditional medicine, revival, brain body balance becomes central to medical ethics, all right? Because now the ethics of the healthcare got to change. They have to become more preventative healthcare. I'm just telling you what they're gonna have to do. Everything they do is reactionary. They're gonna have to start preventing some shit in order for them to truly take a true stance in humanity going forward. Because the way that they once did it, everything is reactionary. They give you a pill after you sick, give you a placebo or some shit, and mask and shit, then give you a pill because that got a side effect, and all this shit is still killing you. All that acting like there's no cure for shit and shit, all that shit finna end. I'm telling you, they finna have miraculous breakthroughs. Oh, there's a cure for this. This shit always had a motherfucking cure. Nature always been the goddamn cure. They don't want you believing that shit in the healthcare, in the healthcare field. Don't get me tapping into pharmaceutics and how the word pharmaceutical means sorcery and so yeah, all that shit. Basically, the crimes against humanity with this Uranus and Gemini, especially against the minds of humans, that shit is gonna end. So soul-bound speech and tone consciousness becomes essential. Communication, telepathy, tech-like, emotional language, evolution, structured contracts, and communication laws. So this gonna open up a lot of authenticity. Imagine you speaking of some bullshit or saying a lie, and it don't even feel comfortable to your system anymore. Imagine somebody saying some bullshit, and a part of you is like, but see, you got to get past your own reaction to the truth in order for that to happen. A lot of people hear the truth and get uncomfortable. Then they think they being lied to. So you got to have discernment coming into this. So this is a full spectrum chakra event. Gemini stimulates the throat, the crown, expression, and downloads in multidimensional data. Capricorn grounds the root and the knees to support and discipline and ancestral endurance. So without Capricorn's root, Gemini's frequency becomes scattered, anxious, and disassociative, right? So without Gemini's light, Capricorn's becomes cold, brittle, and rigid. Think about the difference between night and day. The daytime separates every goddamn thing. You know, my brother King just said that in the room. But it's so powerful because in the daytime, when light shines on something, I get to see it for what it is. Or I might get caught up in the shininess and I don't realize that everything that glitter ain't gold. But at nighttime, it's hard to differentiate what's from what, right? So the nighttime brings everything together. So if you're not comfortable in the darkness, it gets cold. It gets rigid. You can get rigid. You can get brittle. When you lose your light, when you lose your ability to make shit make sense. So breath to bone meditation. Inhale from the crown to the root. So inhale from the crown to the root. That would be exhale from the root to the crown. It's like speak only when breath and spine are aligned. So you make your back erect. You would breathe in from the nose. That's the crown going straight to the brow and to the root. Squeeze that pelvic floor. Exhale from the root to the heart. So you channel that breath down and out. All right, breathe in through your nose, channel the breath down and out, squeeze the pelvic floor as you breathe out, and you'll witness what I'm talking about with that breath integration practice right there. So some of the historical aspects, as y'all know, I like to give a precursor to what we experienced. 1784, 1774. Think about when America was created now. Okay. 1774 to 1781, the pamphlet wars, post routines, revolutionary propaganda. A lot of this is when they began to integrate and change a lot of shit, especially with the American Revolutionary War, with the French Enlightenment going on. 1858 to 1866. This was the telegraph, photography, right? And it's also in literacy, right? Museums and libraries and shit, right? U.S. Civil War, the abolition of slavery, right? Darwin's origin of the species. See, all this shit happened when Uranus was in Gemini, all right? 1941 to 1949, radio, right? Radar, early computing and shit. This was like the first G, right? We done went from 1G to 5G around this motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? So World War II, UN formation, atomic mind and spirit, right? So when you talk about this Uranus and Gemini placement, and I'm gonna give you another number with that number 84. 84 is also the average lifespan of a human being's life. So that just gives you some people live a whole life and not be awakened. So this the first time in our generation and a lot of generations to come or that came before us, if they're not older than 84 years old, they ain't experienced this. All right. So us that are younger than the age of 84, this is our first time experiencing this placement in our lifetime. Let's make the best of it, beautiful souls. Because as you can see, a lot of this was all about facing information crisis, rewiring social structures, evolving into a new mythology of the mind. If that shit ain't happening right now, I don't know what the fuck is. Okay. So how to work with this transit, the Buck Moon integration is going to deal with writing down these old beliefs you were programmed with, one's truth you're discovering, one practice to bridge them. All right. This activates the Gemini mind, a Capricorn ritual, truth rewiring. So reality coding, speak aloud, commitment to rebuild a part of your personal infrastructure, habits, time, finances, relationships. Assign it to a time frame. Capricorn loves time frames. Any Capricorn in the building, no goddamn way they love time frames. Okay. Use sigils, mantras, sacred geometry to imprint the intention. This aligns Gemini's frequency with the Capricorn structure. Information detox. Choose 48 hours each week to disconnect from AI media devices. Reconnect to the embodied knowledge, books, breath, people, trees. I love to say put all the shit down and pick you up. Okay. Uranus and Gemini will overstimulate your nervous system. Capricorn reminds you that wisdom is quiet. He who speaks and he who listens, knowing when to shut the fuck up. Okay. The meta message, the mind, and the Messiah, Uranus and Gemini may convince us that the mind can solve any goddamn thing, everything. But the Buck Moon said the mind is a servant, not a savior. You understand me? The mind is a servant, not a fucking savior. Somebody please hashtag that, tag me in a screenshot that shit or something, okay? The true integration of this transit is not mental mastery, but embodied genius. Not running from the past, but maturing through it. You can't get rid of memory. You can't get rid of what you've been through. The whole thing is that you mature through it. That's the power of Saturn. That's the power of Capricorn. This is a rare evolutionary window where our nervous systems become our spiritual interface. But we must build the temple that can hold the electricity. Your body is the temple. You got to build this thing like an energetic cord. People that were in my Reiki class, we just talked about this last night. All right. So the antlers and the airways is what I want to give with the final word with this. All right. The bug moon is the elder spirit of the earth, standing in the ridge of time. Uranus and Gemini, the cosmic trickster, downloading blueprints from a future most can't even perceive yet. Together they ask you, will you think faster or wiser? Will you speak louder or truer? Will your brilliance scatter or build a bridge? I know I've been speaking fast and wiser. This shit done sped me up. And I went through some body change, and my body's still recalibrating under this energy right now. So this is your chance to evolve your mind into a tool of liberation, not domination. Think with clarity, build with the soul, speak with power. Welcome to the reprogramming of reality. God damn it, we is in the mix like a goddamn blender. You hear me? So you'll see a lot of these things about why it matters is what I want to tap on in this part here. Because the full bug moon here, the stag finds its voice. That's what this is happening. The bone deep maturity. Capricorn meets the crackling intellect of Gemini and the heart, the heart mischief and Venus and Gemini. So here is a kind of multi-layer breakdown of those desires, of those deities and those archetypes. I want to tap in on it. Y'all know I love to get deities and archetypes and shit. All right, so you see a lot of this the backbone, responsibility, the rite of passage, the feminine energies of Chronos. We talked about that earlier in Saturn, which is also Sit. You also deal with Selene or Artemis. All right, you want to deal with Uranus. This is also the primordial. Uranus actually birthed Saturn. So this is a quantum idea. In mythology, Uranus birthed Saturn. Okay. So this has a lot to do with the sky, Prometheus, fire thief, or intellect Hermes, the messenger, the trickster, Quasicatl, the feathered wind sage. All right. So you'll see a lot of these deities that are associated with a lot of placement that we're experiencing now. All right. And if any of y'all just so happen to start seeing it, because I like to list it because a lot of time people might start seeing these deities, even in just pictures or online or whatever the case may be. All right. So unshackle the planetary nervous system for 8 years. All right, this is what this is gonna kind of bring into play. Venus and Gemini, of course, Aphrodite, Philemios, the lover of talk, right? Dealing with Saraswati, all right, the matrix art of eloquence, Freya, right, Oshun, you know what I'm saying? Freya is also an aspect of Isis. You're gonna deal with the playful social grace of the words of the charms of the heart, intellectual intelligence, and also synaptic beauty. Softens Uranian shock, kind of turns knowledge into connection. That's the feminine principle that comes into play with Venus and Gemini right now. And a lot of y'all with Venus and Gemini placements, you're having a Venus return. Okay. So the mythical fusion of the stag and the lightning and the lute is kind of what you're going to experience. And you see the lute and you see the stag here, right? You see the feather in the middle and all that good shit. Because the stag, call of the wild spine. The bug moon anoints your instinct to stand tall, claim territory, and protect life force. The lightning quill, Prometheus and Hermes. Uranus and Gemini strike the sky, nerve, right? Download codes, languages, and invitations to that crack open the stale reality. The silver tongue loop, the Venus, Saraswati. The Venus tunes the frequency so wisdom is sung, not shouted. Stories, jokes, flirtations, all right? Dialogue that bond the tribe. The bone, the alchemy part of it, the bone, Capricorn, voltage, Uranus, melody, Venus, embodied genius. All right. Create your own tune and let your bones sing. You know, I can fit it in my bones. I can fit it in my bones. You understand? So the key words or the energetic mantras I'm gonna give you is also our root, therefore I rise. All right, the ancestral guardianship and all this shit. Uranus and Gemini, I spark, therefore I speak. Synapses, code switch, and trigger insight. The Venus and Gemini are charm, therefore I weave. Okay. These are some of the things that I want. These are y'all know I love putting keywords and little mantras with shit. Just a Gemini in me, I guess. But when you truly understand how these are also connecting you to your hero's journey, it's a call to adventure. There is a refusal for fear. There is a meeting the mentor. All right. There's a crossing the threshold for you. There's going to be a test with your allies and your enemies. Okay, sudden obsessions and shit, you know, accept the crazy sounding invitation. You might get a call. You can be like, I never thought about doing this, but fuck it, let's go do it. Right? List the boundary responsibilities that seem to chain you. Decide which are real. Seek a conversation based teacher, podcast, or a book club. Wisdom flows through dialogue. Right? I often tell people I'm at my best when I'm asked questions or, you know, shit like that. Now, crossing the threshold, perform a physical gate ritual, walk between two trees, or anchor commitment to your body. All right, that's like literally the gate that you can create. You can walk through two trees, that can be your gate. So, the test and the allies of the enemies, especially use humor to riddle and disarm obstacles, build allied networks, right, via quick messages, skill swaps. It's a good time to put all your people in one group chat. I know a lot of women always do this shit anyway. But you get all your people in one group chat, you can spread one message out massively. One person can connect you to 1,000 right now. I'm just telling y'all how amplified this energy is. All right. So approach the innermost cave. That's the pan. That's the wild instinct. Spend time alone in nature. Mountain park, attuned to the gut, brain coherence. Ordeal around death and rebirth. Saturn and Uranus energy is influencing that. Consciously break one outdated rule. Replace it with a self-authored vow. Speak some vows to yourself. Reward and back and reward and roll back. It has a lot to do with the free of the Venetian energy and the magnetism. Share your win through storytelling. Your voice inspires the village. Resurrection, Uranus or Uranus, cosmic mind. Integrate lesson into a scalability ideal, course, app, or community, or garden. Return with the elixir, Artemis. The moon's guardian, Artemis is Sagittarius, for y'all who did not know. Craft a recurring ritual, right? Monthly lunar that keeps the elixir live for others. This is why Sagittarius points at the constellation of Scorpio, killing the lower desires, and that's why if you don't know your poison, you will not know your antidote. Okay? You got to know what's poisoning you. And y'all don't heard me speak on that before. If you don't know what snake bit you, they don't know what antidote to give you. All right. So intensive breakthrough, the 24-hour lightning sprints, you know, that's gonna deal with that. Putting this shit off into a lot of action. What you can do, speak every new idea into voice note. Review and select one prototype, strengthening the soul backbone. Dawn, a hike at dawn, even on a rocky ground. Watch each step, chant personal ethics as you walk. Plant a staff at the summit, right? That's like the marking that you made it type shit. So the magnetic networking is going to deal with the host and Gemini Salon, the six friends, 6 minute story rounds, live sketch ideas on butcher paper, right? It's like based on parchment paper. Now, healing duality But sometimes it's wax. So butcher paper, y'all know that y'all get the idea, okay? So write a letter from your logical twin to your emotional twin. This is duality. This is Gemini. Everybody has a logical side and an emotional side. So write a letter from your logical twin to your emotional twin. Read it out loud under the book moon. Then burn it to ash. Mission roadmap. Draft the bone scroll. 3-column parchment. Vision Uranus strategy. Capricorn allies. Venus seal with beeswax. All right. So that just means you can do a draft with a bone scroll. So 3 columns, right? 3 columns. One is going to give you your vision. One going to talk about your strategy, and one going to talk about the allies, the people you're going to work with to create it. Seal it up with some beeswax. All right. Just giving you a little magic here for y'all who might be into magic. So the final integration, I would say, is speak with thunder and walk with hooves. Beautiful souls. All right. So of course, here's some practice that you can tap into that'll help you out with that as you go off into that. All right. Now, of course, y'all know I got a list what's going on with the chakras and all this type of stuff, especially the things that's going to affect within you. The cell sauce is going to be Cali, phosphorus. Because the theme around is grounded the lightning. Tune the tide. Ground the lightning, tune the tide. So here is an original kind of roadmap as you use the somatic dashboard. So I got some things in here for you to tap into, some foods and all that type of stuff that you can use. I these some things that deal with the body part. Remember, you purchase this PDF, you get all this for your personal needs. All right, you can kind of go back and have it for yourself. You can be able to read back over it and all that good stuff. The PDF is just $22. So here's some chakra balancing techniques, some crystals you can add to this, and also I'm telling you why it matters. Now, one of the last parts I'm going to tap into is um that Thanos energy that I was talking about. Stone, stars, and the snap. Okay. Uranus and Gemini, the infinity stones. Why Thanos? Right? Said I am inevitable. It feels like a prophecy for 25 to 2033 to me. I'm just tell you straight up. Uranus and Gemini, the cosmic context, right? The lightning shock awakener, quantum leaps in language, code, neural networks. Tony Stark invents the time GPS, the nanotech on the fly. I'm giving y'all the correlate to the movie here, okay? The 84-year synodic cycle, the era defining shifts in collective perspectives. Now, perception. This has a lot to do with the infinity cycle, because once in a generation, a cinematic myth. Even how they was like, they didn't know if it was gonna come together, but the only way the Avengers actually came together is when adversity struck. When goddamn me, when Loki, when Loki took the damn cube, right? They had to come together, right? So the trick to the scientist archetype, right? This mimics, right? This is also dealing with the mimics, the universe. This is also dealing with twin narratives. Peter Parker, Doctor Strange, right? Fracturing timelines. Okay. Now, take away when you're dealing with Uranus and the earth signs, it cracks open the planetary nervous system. The Avengers storytelling vehicle, multiverse logic, rapid tech hacks, snappy banter is pure Gemini, Uranus electricity, baby. So the stone, because he had all these stones, right? These infinity stones. The purple stone, the power stone, plasma. In ancient times, one of the first things that our ancestors asked, especially from comedic sciences, well, what created us? What was in existence before existence? This is when they say that God had to create itself in his own image to experience itself type shit, right? When you dealing with plasma, plasma is one of the most plasma is another name for carbon and the same forces that equate to the energy of noon or the great mother or the cosmic waters. Okay. This is raw force amplification. This is all amplification. This is also Mars and Pluto, the Kundalini or the nuclear fire. So this is root solar plexus. The space is the blue, the tesseract portal. So local manipulation, that's Uranus, teleport, non-locality, throat, sound, create space, right? Reality, red, ether, rewrite matter laws, Neptune, dreams, somatic illusions, sacral, third eye. I'm just giving you the aspect of how the planetary energy played out with these source stones or these stones that the infinity stones represented, and how they represent a part of what you can bring together and do your own fucking snap. Okay? You are inevitable. Your life is inevitable. Your death is inevitable. Everything that you know and love, everything that you have, everything that you don't have, everything that you can imagine, when you're no longer physically here to enjoy it, that power or that part of your life or that powerful transformation point in your life is inevitable. All right. So, time, the green, all right, you're dealing with the soul, the vermont, the void, life and death, the threshold. You're dealing with time, the green, the eye of Agamotto. This is the temporal loops. All right, this one you see, that was the one that Doctor Strange was holding on to. Mind, the mind stone, yellow, vision's core, consciousness, AI. That was vision in the movie. So I'm just giving you through an astro-theological lens that the stones compress the seven traditional celestial spheres, the sun, the moon, and the five classical planets, into six hyper-condensed sigils. The missing seventh stone is the human bearer. Thanos. That's why he said, I am inevitable. You the motherfucker holding the stones. That's why I always tell people the most powerful piece on the chessboard is the motherfucker not playing. That's why your pawns can be so powerful. They are potential queens and kings. See? So your pawns have potential. The missing seven stone is the human, your free will, the node that decides how to will the sit. Thanos and Saturn, Pluto and Avenger disguise, because that trait has a lot of echoes when it comes to this energy, right? The form and the Titan, name of Thanos is death. Thanatos, death. Pluto ruled, agent of evolutionary purge. The former on Titan, Satyrian archetype of the Reaper, who ultimately sows. Scarcity, logic, right? This is dealing with the Utarian, kind of dealing with the balance, right? So I am inevitable. Saturn's return and Pluto's cycles avoid unavoidable karmic checkpoints. Saturn's return and Pluto cycles, baby. So collective shadow must surface before renewal. So the even dealing with the meteorological metaphor, right? You're dealing with Thanos as a slow moving cold front that collides with Uranian hot air. The snap is the thunder clap that eclipses pressure, catastrophic yet atmospheric balancing seeking. The time travel in the end game of the age of earth and astrology. MCU, right? Rule creates splinter timelines and harvest stones that from the past to repair the prime reality. The Astro Rule 2020, Jupiter's Saturn conjunction, because I experienced this in 2020 on the 4th of July. Okay. I damn near died during this time. I never forget it. Now dealing with the actual reset because it opened up a 200-year era while surfing data streams from prior Earth ages, resources, hierarchies to engineer a lighter reality. Uranus and Gemini phase from 2025 to 2033. It replicates the 1770s, the pamphlet of the revolution, the 1940s, the code breaking in computers. We borrow ideological stones from history, but we snap them into a new humane operating system. Now, why inevitable is true but not doomed. Why you dying is inevitable, but you're not doomed to die. Okay. Now, a lot of this, the rewiring. Oh, excuse me, let me drink some water real quick, y'all. Now, dissolving one program to the next seed. The Berlin Wall, 1989, Pluto and Aquarius, 1778, the U.S. Constitution was drafted. So that's a repeat right now. That's the echo. All right, we in that. Power back to many. That's what we're experiencing right now. Thanos represents these non-negotiable archetypes that are inevitables. But the hands in the gauntlet are changing from solitary tyrant to disturbed collectives, Aquarius, powered by lightning minds, Uranus and Gemini. The choice is how we meet the cyclical purge. Think about what happened. Tony Stark got the glove. He snapped. The Hulk was trying to get the glove. It down there ate his arm off, right? But when you talking about who's holding the glove, who's been holding this glove of this gauntlet? Who's been changing these things? Now we look at the tyrant. We people viewing the tyrant as Donald Trump. He got the Infinity Stones right now. Okay, so I'm just telling y'all about if you look at what's going on, because the alchemy of this is our personal Infinity Gauntlet, right? So within this, you can kind of tap in and see how you can open up your own gauntlet, using these energies to your own interpersonal insights. I would say, one stone out of balance fries the circuit. Power without the soul equals tyrant, right? The Capricorn book moon supplies the bone gauntlet structure sturdy enough to channel them all. Closing image, the dawn beyond the snap. Picture Capricorn stag rising, electrified antlers, and Uranus and Gemini must, while mist from the Piscean Sea, Saturn, condenses into the morning rain. That rainfall is reality resetting its code. Now, I put this out before all this rain started happening, y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all. This PDF was created a few days ago. I'm in Dallas right now. It rained in one of the areas where I grew up. I want y'all to look at where all this rain has been happening, right? Now, if you talking about somebody holding the gauntlet, somebody manipulating the weather, why are they making it rain in certain places? So I ain't, I'm just saying. Whether it nourishes crops or floods, the village depends on whose hands, yours, mine, or ours, snap the next fingers. It ain't about what's been destroyed, it's about how we rebuild it. I am inevitable simply means cycles are real, beautiful souls. What's not inevitable is who decides the outcome, God damn it. In the age of error, dawning, the gauntlet is becoming an open source hardware. Choose your stones wisely, beautiful souls. Okay? Now, I got one more treat for y'all. I might go on and go through this, just kind of breeze through it. But of course, I did something that I hadn't really done because I know this is such a cosmic reset. But I put information about your life path numbers inside of this PDF. Okay. So what this energy is gonna mean for each light path number. All right, the leader, the light path one, you're stepping into a new phase, self-definition. So if you are light path one, you can look at this, you can go look at this and see, get more clarity as to why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. The light path two, the peacemaker. All right. A lot of relationship shifts and shit like that. You're gonna be experiencing a lot of teaching emotional boundaries and healing patterns around sacrifice. The light path three, the creator and the communicator. This is gonna be a cosmic megaphone moment, right? So this is gonna be a time for you to pop your shit. Communication platform, shift fast, the projects for you around writing, speaking, performing, because you are the creative communicator. That's what the light path three is. Now you bring in the builder, the four. It's like a karmic checkpoint for you. All right, life path forward. This is also a system while you're rebuilding mundane old structures that break, tech replaces, manual process. You must evolve without losing integrity. All right, it's gonna be a clarity catalyst for you. So Uranus reprograms how you think about discipline and order. All right, the life path five, the explorer and the freedom seeker. Uranus is your planetary ally. So this is a mental and spiritual jailbreak for you. So the relocation could be a relocation, new contract, surprise, opportunities abound. So some movement might be happening for the light path five. Sudden insights to guide you towards your next truth, right? So you can building online businesses, a movement that gives you flexibility and legacy. The light path six, the healer, the teacher, the nurturer. You're being called to parent yourself first. The caretaking mission that matures under the buck moon, the mundane, domestic shifts, family, karma, ancestral healing. Challenges could be martyr patterns, boundaries, or love too. All right. You setting boundaries is you saying, I'm doing this because I love you. Okay. So seekers, the sages, the sevens, all right, spiritual deep initiative, intuitive upgrades coming for you. Creating a new spiritual study curriculum or writing a record, write or record your deeper realizations. The light path eight, the manifestor, the executive. This bug moon is gonna force you to reckon with legacy. What are you truly building, and for whom? Okay. Write your ethical wealth manifesto, create digital assets and impact led ventures. The Light Path 9, the humanitarian, the old soul. You're called to release karmic loops. The Bug Moon is asking, where are you still holding others? Pain. Major life completions, closure around relationships, career missions could be coming with this. The life path 11, I put the mouse numbers in here as well. This is my life path. And also the 11 should resonate with the 2. The 22 should resonate with the 4. The 33 should resonate with the 6. Okay. Now, when you're dealing with Saturn, test commitment, a catalyst, even to test your cosmic microphone, refine your message. All right, and I've been literally thinking about refining my message. That's a real thing. Okay, begin to refine your signature course, podcast, or spiritual mentorship. I already got all that going. So if you need you want to join my mentorship, I don't think about to start now. It's going to be this podcast. All of these workshops are my signature courses. Ain't nobody gonna break down these workshops, these moons the way I am. I know they not. And I'm cool with that. I'm just showing you how I know who the fuck I am, okay? So the master builder, you are being asked to lay sacred foundations globally, right? Expect for the structures to emerge, digital schools, new real estate visions, or community leadership offers. Clarity catalyst, Uranus demands you build what's futuristic and free. Saturn ensures that it also align with sustainable and aligned and sustainable. All right. And of course, the mouse number 33, the cosmic healer. So you're undergoing a heart-wide awakening. The world needs your embodiment more than your ideas. Public service, speaking, healing intensifies. You're testing on burnout or impact. So a lot of the clarity that's gonna come from this is gonna be how you show yourself how to digitize and how you digitize compassion and how you reach many through media and energy. So that is another part that I added. And of course, this is going to be, of course, this is how you can use your ascendant. Out of that is there. You're going to be able to tap in and see where your sun sign is. You're going to be able to tap in and see where your moon sign is. And then you're going to be able to tap in and see where your midhaven is. All right, and that'll give you clarity on those major placements. And then, of course, there's the ritual that you can utilize that goes into this as well. All right. So I know I just said a lot, but now I want to open up the floor for any questions that anybody may have, and anybody that is interested in getting the PDF or interested in booking your own personal transits breakdown. It is going to look a lot different from the PDF. Your transit break. It's going to be won't be as thick, of course, but it's going to be literally based off of your own chart placements. All right. So it'll be specifically tailor made for you. Okay. So with that being said, I know it was a lot. Anybody have anything they want to share? Any questions you may have or anything like that before I let y'all get up out of here tonight? And I appreciate you all for your time, your energy, and all that good stuff. Now let me put my cash app in the chat for anybody who is wanting to make that purchase or even wanting to just make a donation. I receive it all. And once again, thank you for your time, your energy. That And thank you all for your time and energy. That is the most powerful exchange that you can give to me. All right. So I honor you all for being here. You could have been anywhere in this world, but you were on this call with me. So I appreciate you. So does anybody have any questions or anything before I let y'all get up out of here? Okay. Now, all right. Hold on, let me take this off. Okay, so make sure that if you are interested in, you are welcome, beloved. If you are interested in getting this PDF or whatever the case may be, make sure you reach out to me. I can send you the PDF. All right, I just got that cash app. Thank you, and I got you on the PDF, beloved. Okay, so somebody just paid for the PDF. If anybody else does want the PDF, remember it's $22. If you do want to tap in and get the transits reading, it's 99, but it will come with the PDF. All right, so get your spot. All right, and that way, I can make sure I get you all in here. All right. Do I do local events? Yes, I do local events. I'm in Dallas, Texas, so I do personal meetings and all that type of stuff. So if you want to get a personal reading, Reiki session, whatever the case may be, I'm right here in Dallas. I got a lot of clients in Fort Worth as well. So, we ain't but 30 minutes apart. So if you want to make that work, we can make that happen. The transit reading will be about all I need is your chart information if I don't already have it. And I will be able to go in and I'll open it up for you and show you about what this axis is doing in your chart, what this time of the year means for you, what Uranus and Gemini is transiting in your chart. So that transit reading will tell you about all of the planets that are transiting right now. Venus, Mercury, Mars, everything. Mercury retrograde. I'll be explaining to you. It's going to be an in-depth breakdown on how you can kind of utilize this energy in this time for your life and your life experiences. So the transit readings are all personal. And I also will send you the breakdown via email. And if you want to get on a call to discuss what I sent you, we can definitely do that as well. But most of the time with the people, once I send them out, they be like, that was good enough for me. I broke it down good enough. Because I send you a PDF of the breakdown. So it ain't just me talking to you about it. You actually get something you can print out, something you can actually utilize. All right. So I hope that answered your question about the transit reading, beloved. Now, once again, gratitude to you all. And for those of you who will listen to this in the future on YouTube, make sure if you want to hit my services up, you can okay, bet I got you and I saw that Kamisha. So Kamisha, somebody will be getting the PDF for free because Kamisha just paid for you to get the PDF. All right. So I got y'all on that. I will be sending somebody that randomly. So just you might get an email out of nowhere with the PDF. So just show Kamisha some gratitude for her generosity and all that good stuff. Okay. So appreciate you all. Remember, if you need a one-on-one meeting or reading or whatever, my website at divineselection.net. Please book your reading if you want a personal reading, in-depth reading. My in-depth readings are very elongated, I would say. I tap into your numbers, the cards, your chart, and all that good stuff. So if you want a personal thing or whatever the case may be, make sure y'all hit me up and let me know because my services are available. And also, I'm an herbalist. If you want herbs or if you need something along your health tips or whatever the case may be, I do herbal consultation and all that as well. So if you need anything around your holistic needs or your spiritual needs, I'm here for that. I have mentorship programs. I have a couple of 9-week programs and all that type of stuff as well too. So if you are interested in that, thank you for that, Tony. And Tony is one of my beloveds. She been rocking with me forever, y'all. I appreciate y'all who always rock with me, all right? And especially with Kamisha, all of y'all, so I appreciate you all. Yeah, and make sure y'all hit me up if y'all want to get the reading or if you want the transit reading or if you want a full reading for yourself, all right? Or if you want coaching or mentorship. So once again, beautiful souls, gratitude to you all for your time, your energy, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all on the next new
Wait
moon.
a minute. I have a question. You don't see my
Hey,
hand up?
I didn't see your hand. Hey, Lisa.
See my
Anybody else got
hand?
any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Lisa got a question.
Um,
So anybody else
well,
got a question after Lisa? Go ahead, Lisa. Talk to me.
okay. It's really more of a statement than a question because I think I sent you in the new app. I sent you the question about the water, but you answered it. And Neptune. Because that is really happening. The flooding, the rain in strange places. And I don't even understand, but Texas is like its own island, even though it's a red state. So it may be targeted. That's all I'm going to say, because this ain't that kind of space. But I have a question for you. Aren't you a certified yoga instructor too? Don't you
Yes,
do
I am.
meditation? He does meditation and yoga, you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe at one of these, he could do a mini meditation and a breath practice before we I don't know. I'm just saying. He got skills. He got skills. Okay. And then I have one more quick question. And I should have told you this when I talked to you earlier. I had a weird dream at the beginning of the week. Okay. I dreamed it was a red snake. And I saw a little bird, and the little bird was sick. Okay. And a red snake came through and bit and killed the bird and
Mm.
came after. I woke up and I was so upset about that dream. I could not even interpret it myself because it was just so uncomfortable, even though things that show up uncomfortable in a dream may be really reversed. But it was uncomfortable, but it was a red and black snake and a little bitty sparrow. What you think about that?
You said a red and black snake and a sparrow?
Uh-huh, a little baby sparrow. But the sparrow was injured,
Okay.
like so it couldn't fly away.
And did you what was your emotions like in the dream?
I was trying to do something to help the bird, and then
Okay.
the snake came through and killed the bird in front of me.
A
I
bird and a
didn't,
snake in a dream is always two opposite forces. And it's a
ah,
gift because I know what's going on in your chart in your eighth house. The eagle, or even when you're dealing with just because the red and the black snake, that's about power and control. So that's like good and evil when you're dealing with the bird and the snake. So that's like conflicting sides of your personality. All right. Now, when you deal with that, how does that come into play for you? Especially dealing with a red snake or a red and black snake in a dream. And the spiritual meaning behind that has a lot to do with there are some hidden threads. So there's a spiritual awakening happening for you. All right. Now, you talking about the dream might be a warning. It could be about some potential a situation that is not what it seems. It wants you to be cautious, especially with the bird dying. All right, losing an aspect of your consciousness within this thing. Not allowing your higher self to suffer from whatever you're experiencing. Gaining the wisdom of the snake. All right. Because the snake presence is always about confronting issues that you might not want to resolve, or certain parts of certain things you might not want to see from a higher place of understanding. The snake is Kundalini energy. All right. That's the path of self discovery. Right. So that can also be a sign for you to use magic. Okay. Anytime you're seeing that, that's like a representation of the unknown. The furs, that's the black. The red is associated with passion, energy, and danger. All right. So the black is fear, unknown. So a lot of your personal association with snake, do you find snakes frightening or fascinating?
frightening,
Okay, there you go.
extremely frightening. Okay,
that's
even them
why
little bitty baby snakes.
that's why you would see in the ancient cultures, even in Kemet, the headdresses, they wore the snake, right? To be able to enchant the serpent, to be able to use the wisdom, to be able to sit in stillness, to be able to honor meditation, to be able to get past whatever perceptions are not allowing you to see past something from its initial thought process type shit. That's the aspect of the bird. When you don't, the bird dies. You trying to save something that probably didn't need saving. Who said the snake was gonna eat the bird? See? So when you're dealing with
Facts.
certain snakes, so it's just like our fears can manifest. So that's like what's happening in a dream besides the snake. That's kind of what I would ask you. Any challenges that you're facing, especially this can be a lot of current life, a lot of challenges that you're facing that is causing you to transmute fear or going into the unknown. All right.
Facts. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I couldn't back it up and see it from that perspective of my own. But
It's all
that
good.
it was messed up. I was like, not the baby bird. So, okay, thank you
That's why I'm
so
here.
much. I
You're welcome.
know. I know. That's why I asked you. Anyway, thank you so much, my brother. Love you
You're
to life,
welcome.
Sensei.
Love you too, beloved. Anybody else? All right, beautiful souls. And I guess since Lisa asked, I'll do a little short breathing with y'all to kind of take you through a body scan. If you choose to do it, all right. And if you want to just drop down into your body, kind of relax and all that good stuff, you can. It won't be a long exercise. I'll just run through some body scanning real quick, okay? Everybody down for that?
I'm
All
with
right. Okay, big.
I'm
Okay.
down.
All right. Now, normally I do this for my paid workshops, okay? But I'm gonna go on and give y'all a treat tonight. All right. So I want you to relax. All right, you can go ahead and if you're in a sitting position, relax your body. All right. We're gonna do a quick body scan, okay? kind of get you rooted in your bones and all that good shit. So you want to make sure your back is erect. If you're sitting up, just make sure you're sitting up straight. Kind of relax your hands and want to open up your palms. So when we breathe in, I want you to turn your palms up. Just relax them on your knees. All right, both palms up when you breathe in through the nose. And when you breathe in, I'm going to have you create tension in certain areas of your body. When you breathe out, turn the palms down. I want you to breathe out through your mouth. Take a nice long exhalation. All right. I want you to push that air out of your stomach. I want you to exhale, really deflate your stomach when you take this exhalation. I want the exhale to be longer than the inhale. Okay. Slow exhale. Control the exhale going out. Control the inhale coming in. All right. So we're going to do the nostrils. We're going to breathe in slow. Then we're going to breathe out slow. And as you do this, I'm going to walk you through different parts of the body. When you breathe in, turn your palms up. When you breathe out, turn your palms down. This will help create more airway and more air flow. Okay. So y'all ready? All right. So sit, relax the spine. Make sure your back is erect. Your feet are nice and planted. If you want to lay down, you can lay down for this as well. So the first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose, palms up. Slow breath. I want you to bring some tension to your feet. Tighten up those feet. Tighten up those toes. Ball them up. All right. If you start to cramp up, just release it. Okay. So release the feet as you breathe out through the mouth. Nice exhale. Breathe out through the mouth. Release those feet. Release those toes. Relax the feet. Get that breath out. Now we're going to go in through the nose. Now I want you to bring some tightness to your calf muscles. Tighten up those calves, palms up as you breathe in slow. As you release the palms down, breathe out, relax the calves. Nice exhale, breathe out with the slow exhale. Control the breath. Don't let the breath control you. All right. Now, palms up. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose slowly. Now, I want you to tighten up these thighs. Tighten up those thighs. Tighten up those thighs. Bring some tightness to those quadriceps. Okay. Palms down. Release the quads. Relax the quads. Relax the legs. Palms up, tighten up those glutes, tighten up those glutes, tighten up them butt cheeks. All right, tighten up those gluteus maximus. You might lift yourself up off your chair. Palms down, relax the glutes, relax the buttocks, relax those butt muscles. A lot of blood flows through those legs, relaxing. Now, palms up in through the nose, tighten up the abdomen, tighten up the stomach. Give me a six pack, create a six pack up in there. All right, eight pack, 12 pack, whatever you got. Keg. All right. Breathe it in, palms down slowly. Relax the abdomen, relax the stomach. Breathe that breath out. Really push your stomach into your back. Take a nice exhalation. Get it out, get it out. Palms up, breathe in through the nose. Let's bring some tension to the chest. Tighten up those pecs, tighten up that chest area. Squeeze those pecs, squeeze those chest muscles. As you take the palms down, open up the chest, pop it open like a curl barrel. All right, let that air out. Exhale, nice exhalation. Release that heart chakra energy. Now, in through the nose, palms up. Bring some tension to the shoulders. Let's hike the shoulders up. Bring them up to your ears. Bring that tension, create that tension in the shoulders. All right. Palms down. Relax the shoulders. Roll the chest back, the shoulders back. Roll them back, roll them back. Relax the chest. Open it up. Relax those shoulders. Drop them down. All right. Drop them down. All right. Now, come up. Palms up. Now let's go into the neck. Elongate the neck. Spread that neck out. Open it up like a snake, like a cobra. Open it up like a cobra. Imagine it expanding out, palms down, relax the neck. Oh, that was a good pop. If you feel some tension, don't hesitate to pop that neck, okay? Nice exhale, get it out. Palms up. Now let's bring some tension to the jaws, the face. All right, to the jaws. Tighten up those cheeks. Give me some chipmunk cheeks. All right. Let me see your dimples if you got some dimples. Okay. All that good stuff. All right. Palms down. Relax the face muscles. Relax the cheeks. Relax the jaws. Now bring it into a smile for me. Smile opens up a lot of neuropathic pathways in the face. All right. Now, in through the nose one more time, slowly. Let's bring some tension to the forehead and the top of the head. Bring some wrinkles to that forehead. A lot of tension. You know how you start thinking the tensions build up in the forehead. Release, bring those wrinkles up. You bring it there intentionally. Like you thinking hard. Feel the wrinkles. Feel the tension in the forehead. Palms down, out through the mouth. Relax that forehead. Relax the tension. Keep relaxing the body. Relax the shoulders. Relax the neck. Relax the chest, relax the stomach, relax the thighs, relax the buttocks, relax your calves, relax the feet. Your body's in a beautiful state. You're at home in this body. Now I'm going to guide you out of the call, and you can sit with this if you like, all right? But you can now bring your palms together in the center of your chest. Let's unite these polarities together. I want you to think about how grounded you are, how safe you are. Affirm the things that you want to release under this full moon. Affirm the thought process that no longer serve you. Affirm the old beliefs, the ideas that no longer serve you. Whatever comes up, if you feel the need to speak it out, breathe it out. All right? Just let it out, whatever comes out, even if it's just a good breath. Now, give me one deep breath in with the palms together. Deep breath in through the nose. Slow breath in. Think about all those things you want to release. Think about all those thought forms that just came up. Now, I just want you to drop it down into the earth with one simple sound. Ah, let it out. Ah, release it. Relief. Release the system. Relieve that nervous energy, the anxiety, whatever it is. Keep those palms centered. Keep those energies connected. All right. Now I want you to think about what you want your life to look like. I want you to think about what safety, what wealth, what abundance looks like for you. I want you to visualize the money in your bank account. Visualize yourself at home in this reality. I want you to ask yourself, what is stopping you from being in love with being human? Breathe all of the things out that no longer serve your nervous system, the things that are no longer relative to where you're going. If you tired, breathe out being tired. Breathe in life. One more deep breath in for me through the nose with the palms together. Breathe in that life. Breathe, breathe out the stagnation. Breathe out the inertia. Breathe out you being tired. Release it. Release it. Release it. Let it go. You no longer need it for where you're going. All right. So when you embrace this part of yourself, let it go. Release it all. Release it all. Okay. Now, as I lead you out of the meditation, all I want you to do is stay with this for as long as you want. Keep those palms together. And I want you to think about things that make you happy, things that you're grateful for. Think about things that make you present right now in this reality. You are here. You are now. You are not your mind. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the architect of your life. You are the orchestrator of your life. This is your life to live at your own free will and your own power. Breathe that in, slow breath in, and breathe out what you want to release. All right. So sit with that. Embrace it. If you get done, whatever you want to journal, use your hands, write it out. You can repeat the meditation tonight if you like. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your nights. Peace and love. Namaste.